Whee! Okay, just one moment to notify reality. Whee! Okay. That's so funny. Oh my god. Okay. Feel like I'm inside a VR. We all are. Okay. Okay, so hey, good morning, everybody. Look at the sun. So nice. So, Nikki's morning coffee, a lollipop, and a cigar. This is what we do in heaven. Okay. What's the title of this? Boundaries and self-worth. Okay. You're not an empath. Okay, listen to that again. You're not an empath. Whoever told you that you were an empath and you absorbed energy, that's a different playing field. That's like when you were in 5th grade in high school. It's a fun story. In my world, there's no such thing as empaths or narcissists. We evolve we evolve from blame and victim consciousness, and we take full on responsibility for whatever reflections appeared in the field. So if you're still lost in the story, or I'm an empath and I absorb energy and I have to protect my field, okay, there's a next level of that. I'm not saying it's false, because every single truth is true in the level you're in that moment. So that's the rules you may be playing in your world. But there's a reality. God, it feels so good. There's a reality above that. And I don't say above as in like better than. I say above as in there's a higher perspective that includes your perspective and this perspective that is cooking. So this perspective is you have the power, your inner authority, to say no to absorbing outside frequencies as a quote unquote empath. And you can choose to stay grounded in your own field and have such a strong energy field within yourself that you can be New York City, like a city as chaotic as New York City, and feel utmost peace because you're not a product of your environment. You are just the ground. You're the ground that can shift the whole environment. Imagine having such a strong frequency. This is my one. Imagine being in a class and the teacher, instead of having like a pointer stick, has a lollipop. Welcome to the Nicole Ortega class. She teaches with a lollipop. It's so cute. You guys go do this. Oh my god, I love my inner child. Okay, let's stay focused. And so okay. So you can be so in your power and so grounded in your own energy field that when you walk into a room, you're not an empath, they're not narcissists, and you're not a narcissist either. You don't have to go from one end to the other end of the spectrum. You can be so powerful in your own alignment that the whole room shifts because of your frequency. Like, think about that. You're so powerful in your own inner alignment that the whole room shifts because of your frequency. Write that down. Pause this. Well, when you can, not right now. You can pause it because it's live. Oh my god, guys. Imagine waking up like this every day. Okay. What's on my coffee? They put DMT on my coffee because that's how it feels like. Okay, so that's why I need to smoke the cigar. Because if I don't smoke the cigar, I'm gonna fly away. That like grounds me. Okay. So you're not an empath and you're not a narcissist. That's bullshit. In Nikki's reality, that's bullshit. You are the conscious co-creator of your world, and you can choose to be so fucking powerful, so grounded in your core frequency, so sure of your power, so like you have such a strong armor, but it's not an armor that makes you like tougher in the inside. You can be so soft and so playful. Our natural state is our inner child, just like me right now. Like, wee! That's our natural state. We just have repressed that because of the outside world making us like, oh, you have to act tough. You have to have like a shield all the time. There's a better way. You can be so anchored in your infinite power that you have an armor, a divine armor around you. And you can still be the beautiful flower in the inside. Or if you're a guy, you can be the beautiful. I mean, you can also be a flower as a guy. Do you want to be a flower? Let's give you another analogy. You can be a tree. You can be this most beautiful, grounded, epic tree as a man. And the tree can be your inner playful child too. And you have a strong armor, but you intuitively know in which context and in which situations to show up in your most authentic, vulnerable self, because that's what's going to bring you joy. If you repress your vulnerable, authentic, playful side, you're not going to truly enjoy life because you're always going to have to be protecting yourself. And that's a trauma response. It's a trauma response that arises from growing up with narcissistic parents, and we didn't have that strong conviction in alignment in our core. So then we had to split this personality and create a mirage or a facade to protect ourselves from dying. Like literally as a kid, we saw our parents as our source of survival, as our source of safety. And when we wanted to receive protection, safety, approval, because we believed that if our mom or dad didn't approve of us or didn't supported us, then we were gonna die. I mean, in my case, I was told many times, if I didn't follow it, it's exactly what I was told, I was gonna have to live on the street. So imagine me like baby Nicole in the field being like, if you don't submit to my rules, you're gonna have to live in the street. And I'm like, holy shit. So like I learned not to have my own sense of authenticity and own boundaries and own my core, because if I didn't like mm, flip myself, edit myself to submit to the people that had the quote unquote power, which were my caretakers, I was gonna die. Because as a 15-year-old, I'm like, okay, if I go to the streets right now, I may die by myself. What am I gonna do? I mean, I could bartend. You know, I was like, I thought about it. I'm like, I can just go and be a bartender, but I was too scared. I wish I had played out that timeline. I did for like a week. Then I came back. I always left and came back. Anyways, it's not about me. It is about you. How growing up with narcissistic parents and parents that just abused our like it's a privilege to have like an infinite baby. Imagine you being an infinite baby without any programs, and then you have a narcissistic parent that is just commanding you to do shit or you die. So we created a split personality to survive. And then in adulthood, when this is a vocabulary class now. We're in adulthood. We're adults, says the girl with a lollipop in her hand. We're adults. I, I truly feel like I am on DMT. Okay. And disclaimer, I'm totally sober. So as adults, then we're like have that coping mechanism that if we don't use a split personality for survival that we had to use to survive, then we're not going to be received. And that's the beauty of deprogramming. You don't even have to go to therapy, you don't even have to do infinite shadow work. You can just use quantum healing. You can shift into the reality where that never happened. Like truly. And this is not bypassing. This is there's a version of your authentic core in your heart, which is the portal to the Godhead, in which you never experience that trauma. Let that sink in. There is a version of reality in which you never experience that trauma. There's a version of your personality, your authentic heart, soul frequency, that was never, quote unquote, abused, commanded, neglected, abandoned, whatever. So that's a version of you, and you can tap into that. And when you tap into that version of you, you can integrate all the lost aspects or all the baby selves that perhaps died when you were growing up, perhaps the ones that were hidden in the unconscious. And then you have full on access to all of your personalities into one. So that means that you can have a core, a center, and you can also have infinite personalities to choose from. You know, like today I wanted to be a baby, so I showed up like a baby and I'm playing with my inner child. Sometimes I feel more my toughness and I show up in my masculine. Sometimes I can show up as my goddess siren feminine self, and you have access to all of those personalities too. Yet the beauty of this is that when your inner child is healed to the core, when you know that you're completely loved and accepted for who you are, not what society told you, not what your parents made you believe. Nobody can make you believe shit, but the beliefs that you adopted by how your parents responded to you, that were like, okay, if my mother is not paying attention to me and if my father is being abusive and exploding in anger, that means that I'm not worthy of love. That means that I'm unlovable. That means that I'm not needed. That means that I'm not worthy to be here. And sometimes these things are so ingrained in the cellular memory, because even when we were in the womb of our mothers, sometimes the mom didn't even want to have us. They could have had thoughts of abortion. And then the child in the womb starts believing that he's not needed or wanted. Imagine coming to Earth with that deficiency. It's like you come back to Earth with a disadvantage because you weren't wanted or needed by your parents. Yet, you chose that playing field. You chose your parents. You chose that team in your reincarnation. So let's slow down because we're getting onto something good here. So, we're in a commercial. If you're doing the Nikki morning routine, place your lollipop in your coffee and then you can have lollipop coffee. Don't follow those suggestions. It's just me being me. Okay, so lollipop coffee. So then you shows that team in your incarnation. That takes away any sense of resentment, anger, guilt, shame, pride. Fully own. Like if you're in this class, this is a really advanced class. This is a really advanced class. If you're in the lollipop class, this is an advanced class. So I'm expecting of you to already know that there's nothing to forgive, okay? Whoever is here or whoever is going to watch this in the future, in 2054, because we have eternity, I'm going to expect of you that you already know that there's nothing to forgive. There's an unconditional acceptance of every single team, person, difficult situation that you chose. Think about it like this. You're creating your whole playing field. You created the players, you created the seeming enemies, you created your seeming saviors, the whole victim perpetrator drama dynamics, okay, the whole collective bullshit. You chose that video game, you chose that VR set, you chose the characters because you were like, how can I play myself? How can I be so clever? How can I be so fucking clever that I can wake myself up this way? And everybody was just playing a role, the role that you assigned them in your movie. It's your movie. So when you know this to the core, any sense of betrayal, any sense of pride, of judgment, of poor me, why everybody has it so easy, and why for me it was so hard, and I had to, like, I mean, even to me, there was 5 years of my life that even doing my bed in the morning was like a huge task. Like in the mornings, waking up, to me, it was like so hard to even breathe. You know the first breath that you take when you're in the womb and you come out of the womb as a child and then you breathe and you start crying because you're like, fuck. That was me. It was like, fuck. I'm reincarnated again. I hate this shit. Okay, so you know that for 5 years, it was really hard to just even wake up and make my bed. Like I had to put a lot of effort in even like waking up and making my bed. Like showering was an accomplishment. I'm like, holy shit, I showered. Like, wow, good for you, Nicole. So I know what it is like to be in hell. I know what it is like to be so in your own prison. Because your mother, your father, your aunt, your ex-lover, they're all aspects of you. Okay? You chose those characters so you can learn to accept, to know yourself and accept those parts of yourself. And when you truly know yourself and you accept those parts of yourself, they shift. My relationship with my family is the best ever. Why? Because we barely speak. They're there on call when I need them. If I want to share love with them, they're there to share love. And I have really strong boundaries with them. Like my lesson with my birth family was to have really strong boundaries, to say no, to stop being a good girl or good boy, to stop being a people pleaser. Yeah. So now my relationships with them, it's in my own terms. And that's like, whoa, that shifted my whole life, my career, my friendships, my finances, my level of joy and happiness, because I didn't need it to respond any way people wanted me to be. I learned to trust myself. I learned to own my unique path. There's nobody like me because there's nobody like you. And if we try to fit into a mold, it's like a cookie, you know those little cookie things when you go to you want to bake cookies and you have the flour and everything and you put the cookie thing and it becomes like this little cookie man. Hey, everybody has their unique cookie. And if you try to fit in into a group or into what somebody wants you to be, anybody wants you to be and tells you to be for their own gain, for their own sense of self-worth, people sometimes want you to put you in a box because it gratifies their ego. Stop playing those games, even with the closest people that you think they have your best interests at heart. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just have you there to fit their own agendas. So be really discerning. Be really discerning. Those are the lessons that you're placing yourself there to start trusting your intuitive knowing. Because if you're meant to be a leader, and I just want leaders and masters in my field, if not, please unsubscribe. If you're meant to be a leader and you're ready to own your uniqueness, don't try to copy anybody. Be you. Be the most authentic you. What is your authentic soul core frequency before you had trauma? What is your authentic soul core frequency before you were seemingly abused? What is your authentic soul core frequency before you had that rape experience, before you had that sexual trauma? What was your authentic soul core frequency before your ex lover was unfaithful? What is your authentic soul core frequency before you were shamed by your father? What is your authentic soul core frequency? Nice. Before you were told that if you express your truth, you were gonna die, or you were gonna get kicked out of the tribe, or you were gonna lose approval. What is your authentic soul core frequency before you believe that if you didn't fit in with society, you weren't gonna be able to receive a paying check, and then how you're gonna live, so therefore you're gonna die. So all of this, that's beautiful, creative, playful, curious, adventurous, energetics. Yes, 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 yes. Hi, hi, hi. So it all leads back to the fear of death, you know? You can tell people, this girl with a lollipop in her hand told me that all my fears led to the fear of death. Yeah. You have to test it. You need to keep choosing yourself and then see that you didn't die. You're going to learn that you're always supported. Every time you break a new ceiling of self trust, you're going to be like, whew, what now? I invested in the mentor. I paid more money than I'm usually pay for my housing. I took the flight, the first class flight to Africa. I am just making shit up. The moment you have a highest ceiling of abundance and you said fuck yes to that, that's the test. You're gonna be like, oof, I emptied my bank account. Oof, I let go of all my past friendships that represented security. Oof, I fuck. That's where the field is gonna be like this. Like, that's the opportunity for you to stay in that conviction and see what happens. And every time, my friend, I have stepped into a new level of abundance like this, instantly I'm replenished. Instantly the field sends me more money. Instantly the field sends me more friendship. Instantly the field sends me more opportunity. Instantly the field sends me a new invitation. Lack doesn't exist. Fear isn't real. So test yourself. Like, this is not just, I'm not telling you this for you to consume content and then go and, have a bag of chips and watch Netflix. I'm telling you this for you to create your own Netflix, for you to be the bag of chips. You're the bag of chips. You enjoy yourself. You create your own Netflix movie. You know how fun. That's why you watch Mission Impossible. That's why you watch exciting movies, Fast and Furious. Like, it's fun to be in the game. It's fun to be like, oh, what do I do now? Like, what happens? Like this, like, oh, get, like, save, not save the girl. Actually, that's a distortion from humanity. Don't save anybody. Be your own authentic king, so you can magnetize your own authentic queen. Nobody has to save anybody. Everybody can be in their power, and we can collaborate and support each other. So that's the only thing I don't agree with the movies and Netflix and the whole James Bond thing. Like, at the end, you just like, get the no, let the woman be her own hero. But besides that distortion, all those movies are exciting because the characters are in the field. So you start living. When you lose the fear of dying, when you realize that you're supported no matter what, how do I stay more grounded in my power? Just keep doing it. The field's gonna give you opportunities and tests all the time to be like, this is what you're saying right now that you're gonna be. And then they're gonna send you a distraction to test if you're gonna stay in your conviction. So this is a really good point. Thank you, Colin, for the question. When you tell reality, you're ready to step into a new level of empowerment, into a new level of certainty and security and joy. The field is going to show you a distraction. It's going to be like, hey, knock, knock. Are you telling reality that you're ready to step into your king energy? Knock, knock. Are you telling reality that you're ready for the one, your perfect aligned one, which is you? You're ready to be your own epic lover, your own epic own hero of your life? Then the field's gonna send you a distraction. And that's when you need to be discerning. The title of this show today: Boundaries. Self mastery of all these seeming empaths lies in having strong energetic boundaries. If you want to be respected, haha, and honored, you gotta respect and honor yourself. It's nobody's fault. It is nobody's fault. If you want to be respected and honored, you need to love, respect, and honor yourself first. And then the field will give you that experience because that's the experience that you're giving yourself. Every single scene in your movie that you have experienced, it's an experience that you're choosing to give yourself. You said yes to that frame. You collaborated with every other seeming character to create that scene. So that takes you into creator consciousness. You're not a victim, you're a creator. There's instant quantum acceptance. Now you can jump realities, you can jump timelines. You can choose a different past. Therefore, you were never abused, you were never neglected, you were never ashamed. You have a free blank canvas to do whatever the fuck you want, in integrity, of course, and in clear communication. So, what do you want to create? Now that you know that you're the creator, now you know that everything is forgiven and accepted, now that you don't have to be a good girl or a good boy, now that you can be the king and queen of your own movie, what is the most exciting thing you can create for yourself and the rest of yourself? And the silence is in purpose. So you can use this field to receive an answer. Use this as a meditation. Now that I know that everything is quantumly accepted, now that I know that I don't have to be the good girl or boy, and I can be my king queen energy for me, not for anybody. Now that I don't need to save anybody because I don't need to prove myself. Now that I know that I'm infinitely worthy just because I exist. No need to do anything. I'm worthy because I exist. Okay, now that that's known in every cell of your being to the root, what do I want to create for myself and the rest of myself? I'm going to allow the last 15 minutes of this transmission to be me and my masculine, and the field just being an open space for you to receive that answer in silence. Okay? Now that there's no nothing to prove, now that I'm not answerable to anything or anyone, from my infinite power, which is divine love, what do I wish to create? Now that I'm infinitely open to receive all the blessings that were always there for me, now I'm open though. Now I'm like, boop, hand open. How would I respond to every single interaction in my simulation video game of reality? Now that I'm infinitely open to receive. Now that I don't need approval, now that I don't need validation, now that I trust my inner knowing because I have seen the results over and over and over. And I know that the better it gets, the better it gets. What would I do right now? Seemingly do because it's effortless and it happens through you. It's called non doership. Your higher self takes possession of your body and drives. Now that I know that there are no narcissists, there are no empaths. Now that I know I can be grounded in my field, in my core, and everything else shifts accordingly to match my conviction and my vibration. What would I do? Seemingly do. What would I create? Seemingly create. To which frame of reality would I teleport, quantum jump into? The image I get is like a landscape. You don't move, the landscape moves to you. Hey! You don't move, the landscape moves to you. You stay here, unmoved, unaffected, untouched, still, present, fearless, convinced, and the frame moves to you. Easy. How much more effortless can it be? How easy can it be? How fun can it be? How miraculous can it be? And you choose to forget about the how? Yeah, it's not meditation. It's just you become the prayer. You become a walking transmission. You are it. You're the embodiment of it. So you forget about the how. You forget about the when. You forget about the who. You're open to receive in miraculous, unexpected ways. Forms of support that you even didn't even knew they existed. Because you're in a completely whole new playing field where that's normal. You normalize the miraculous. It's no longer a miracle because your life is a walking miracle. So it's just normal. Perhaps you ask yourself, where is my normal miracle that I expect every day gonna show up today? Because it's where I live. Nice. Pick a brush, paint, instrument, express something. Nice. Charge for it though. Haha, don't be a hippie on the street just like painting and picking an instrument. No, no. Create a system so it's an aligned business. I don't like hippies. I want masters. The modern mystic. An awake billionaire. Okay? So if you're gonna do the paintbrush, make sure you have a system so you get paid for it. Okay? Nice. So whatever you're charging for that now, I want you to double it. Wherever you're placing it, fuck that donation shit. Fuck that, like, I'm gonna place it there and see what happens. Charge for it, and whatever your rates are right now, double it. Double. And then the next week, double it again and see what happens. Why? Because then why the fuck would you do it? You're telling reality that you're not worthy. Then why would you even create or paint if you cannot ask for money for that? You're a waste of life. You need to integrate money as a spiritual being. Being spiritual doesn't mean being in the clouds, it means being in the real world and having a multi-million-dollar business. That's more spiritual than being a monk or putting your songs on Spotify and then being like, oh, I'm scared to ask for money for this. Who'll take you seriously, man? Who would want to listen to your shit? Nobody. Give yourself your worth. Stop love. I don't want to listen to your shit. It's worth nothing. That's what you're saying right now. Tell me it's worth $10,000 and I'm going to be like, oh, let me listen. Okay. Take that as a gift. We can go deeper on a private session. We can finally start making money. It's so yummy. Okay. You want to be a modern mystic? I am a modern mystic. Send me this to my email and I'll send you the next step. And if you're a fuck yes for liberation mentorship, Send me. Liberation. Mentorship. This is more about awakening and deepening your state of peaceful bliss and purifying your ego. Yet, you can still be in your most passionate, abundant, successful creation career. And if you want me to answer to your last question, you have to pay me first. Okay? So, peace, my friends.